Hello, my name's Sara Meek-Rogers. I'm the Director of Family Ministries here at Grace Chapel, and I'm so happy to be here with you guys today and talking a little bit about our next chapter of our first book called Just a Little Bit More. It's chapter 21. And in this chapter, we talked a lot about what it means to have enough and what it means to be enough. And within the chapter, there was a really poignant description of how people thought what enough felt like, regardless of the spectrum of where you landed as far as how much money you make. It was always about 10% more that we said would feel like enough. And man, that hit home. How often have I said that? Like, if we could just, like, this little bit extra would really make a huge difference. And probably it would make a huge difference for a little while until we get used to that little bit extra, and that becomes our bare minimum. And then at that point, what is enough? Because what seemed like enough however long ago, it now no longer feels like enough. And so the idea of us truly living in a scarcity mindset, in that whatever baseline we're at doesn't feel quite like it's going to sustain us or like we're going to make it through wherever we are, because we always need a little bit more. What we're really sitting in is a scarcity mindset. It's not feeling like enough. It's not feeling like the things that we have are enough, or maybe like what we have to offer is enough. This goes all the ways, I think. A lot of times we see this when we're talking about money, when we're talking about possessions, when we're talking about things that we need and have, but also we're talking about our inside sometimes too. How much energy do I have? How much time do I have? How much love and kindness do I have? Is that enough to be able to give to whatever it is that I'm looking for? And so the story that was within the chapter that they talked a little bit about was that of the 5 loaves and 2 fish. And basically it said, like, this was a miracle of somebody being able to give just a little bit and it becoming more than enough. And why did that? Whoever it was, it says in a couple of the Gospels that it maybe was a different person. In a lot of the stories, it was talking about a little boy who gave over his lunch and thought, you know what, maybe that boy knew it was going to be plenty and knew what Jesus was going to do with it. And maybe that boy thought, you know what, this is worth it because of what Jesus is doing in my life. And so let me give this over to the work of the Lord and see what the Lord is able to do with it. And I think that is a really good reminder for all of us, is that whatever it is that we have, we can give it over to the work of the Lord and then see what it is that will happen. I always say that the reason that we give is that I can look in hindsight at what has happened when I did. And giving in whatever capacity it is. Have I served? Have I donated my time? Have I donated some extra things that we didn't need maybe? Have we tithed? Whatever it is, have I given? And then can I look back and go, man, look what God did, and also look how our lives turned out in the end, because in the end, it was enough. And so I want to encourage us today, maybe just to look back and recognize the times that we have given, maybe even things that seemed very small, and seeing what it was that God was able to do with it and how our lives were in the process and how we came out of it. Because I think sometimes that hindsight is very, very 20/20, in that we can look back and go, yeah, that was plenty. Maybe it didn't feel like it at the time, but it certainly was plenty. So I want to read for you the prayer that came out of the end of this chapter. At the very end, our author says, "May we allow God to open our hearts to a theology of abundance in this season of giving." And the prayer is this: Lord, help me share what I have, even when I feel that it's not enough. Help me trust in your provision and look for the good of others before my own good. Amen. May we go today remembering that you are a child of God, that you are a blessing, that you are enough.